Yes, more Chelsea news. Nom, 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 nom.
Way so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
Yo, what's happening, people? Welcome back to the channel Football Therapy. With me, your host, Jan. I do hope you're doing well. Fellas, I really do hope that. Well, then, ladies. Ladies. Let's be real, there's no ladies. Well, there might be a couple of ladies out there. Probably my mother including. Actually, not even my mum. No ladies! Anyway, what's happening? Okay, keep going again. Could restart, but I'm not going to. Authentic day. Vulnerable Jan. Chelsea news. Welcome back. How's it going? Today we're going to reflect on an interview Noni Madueke spoken about. Is Noni going to make it under Enzo Maresca as a starter? My gut feeling was Noni was going to be this like Conference League Cup player, off the bench player, not necessarily a starter, but he's backing himself to be that guy. So we're going to see what happens with that, what he's been saying in this interview. Lots of publications have been speaking about it, but I'm going to cite The Athletic, Simon Johnson, some other stuffs as well, goalkeeping, transfer news. Chelsea, of course, looking to try and finalise the deal for Jorgensen, but also Sport Witness is talking about Chelsea are coming for Andre Lunin. What is happening to us? You know? Anyway, strap yourselves in. It's going to be a good video. Thank you for joining me. I do really appreciate all the support that you guys have been giving me here on the channel. If you dig the content, then drop a like. Let me know. If you do want to subscribe, I recommend you hit the bell. That being said, let's get into it. Right, sorry, I just had to go and speak to someone at the door. Yes! So, Chelsea news. Should we start on Goalkeeper? Look, this is a big article from, relatively big. That's what she said, from Simon Johnson on The Athletic. But let's start with Goalkeeper. First of all, Fabrizio Romano on his YouTube channel has been going on speaking about Jorgensen, the Villarreal Denmark international, youth international. Let's be honest, it's not the most exciting, thrilling, scintillating, convincing transfer target, but I mean, if you said to me, Jan, you've got a choice here, Jan. If you saying this to me, you can either roll the dice and keep Rob Sanchez in goal for this upcoming campaign as Chelsea starting goalkeeper, or you can roll the dice to get Jorgensen as a different option. I'm taking the bet. I'm taking the gamble, and it's no disrespect to Robert Sanchez, who I'm sure has a high ceiling, and but I'm not going to pretend for a second that I've been meticulously and closely watching the Villarreal goalkeeper, because of course that would be untrue. But I would like an alternative. I would like an alternative, and if people are believing this guy is the solution, then at least it's a different option. So for me, I am cool with that. What I am not cool with is according to Diario via Sport Witness, so Cy Phillips on X. Chelsea are coming for Andre Lunin. Enzo Maresca's side are very serious about Lunin, despite them making efforts to sign Villarreal goalkeeper Philip Jorgensen. Now, I know Lunin is technically better than Kepa because he benched Kepa at Real Madrid in Courtois' absence. I know Courtois came back and played the Champions League final. But, Lunin, bro. Watching him in the European Championships this summer, I was like, ooh, this guy is chucking him in and making mistakes, and he's not, how is he? And people were like, Kepa got benched for this guy. Like, that was like a meme of a sort of, a joking statement, like, how did Kepa get benched by this guy? Granted, he might have just had a bad tournament for Ukraine, but my word, my giddy aunt, I am not interested in Andre Lunin. I mean, honestly, I know we're so used, and we are, despite, us being under this new regime for a while now, and the hashtag project, it will take a while for me to not be used to signing big name players all the time. So you think, well, I'm a Chelsea fan. We need a big important player. We sign, we throw 100 million quid at Lukaku because he's playing well, or do you know what I mean? Or, oh, someone wants Kai Havertz. Well, chuck 72 quid at him because he should come to Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's for a while how I feel. So you feel like, oh, well, we need a goalkeeper. Just sign big Mike Maignan for Milan, Start the French, he starts for France. But we can't do that. And maybe the data suggests they're not the best option and they just cost loads of money. So what does that leave you with? Hey? That leaves you with Lunin and Jorgensen, apparently. I know people have different preferences. And I, like I referenced before, Goldberg, he was talking about how we should get Bolka back, Marcin Bolka. I wouldn't be totally opposed, but if we're not considering him for a reason or two, then fine. I don't know how much it costs from Nice, but yeah, let me know what you think about that down in the comment section below. What you think about the goalkeeping situation. Alright. Sweet. Let's jump into this article on The Athletic from Simon Johnson. Nolly Madueke has been speaking. Huge talking point. Chelsea are looking for a striker, maybe. Chelsea are looking for another right-footed winger, maybe. No one knows exactly how the Chelsea attack is going to be constructed under Enzo Maresca. We didn't really learn much in that Wrexham game, apart from me personally thinking we just getting Nkunku in there. Nkunku will score goals wherever you put him. I've been saying it, man. So, yeah, the likes of Nolly Madueke, what's going on with this guy? We don't really know. So let's read. No one can say Nolly Madueke has had it easy since joining Chelsea. For starters, Maresca is now the 4th head coach he has worked under in the space of just 18 months. That's if you include Frank Lampard's 11-game spell as interim manager, and of course Potter, Pochettino, others. That is challenging enough, but Chelsea's pursuit of other players who operate in the same position he likes to play in on the right flank is providing the real test of his character. Last summer, of course, we bought Cole Palmer from Man City. While he was also used as a 10, his outstanding form ensured he was first choice. Yeah, didn't Cole Palmer score 4 goals? Against Everton he scored 4? Including a perfect hat-trick, and that was from the number 10 position, not from the right wing position, which a lot of people need to remember. Chelsea have also recruited 17-year-old Ecuador international Kendry Páez, who will join up with the squad next year. During this window, Brazilian 17-year-old Willian Esteval, should I say, from Palmeiras, has been signed with the view of him being involved next campaign as well. Chelsea made 2 attempts over the last summers to sign Michael Elise from Crystal Palace, only to drop out because they weren't prepared to pay his £200,000 a week salary, which of course he's being paid at Bayern Munich. Oh, and there's also the small matter of the highest paid player at the club, Raheem Sterling, being part of the competition. Yeah, that's true. And no matter what you think is Nolly Madueke, in your head you'll be thinking, he's friends with Sterling, and yes, of course, form over everything, but there will be a lingering thought of, well, he's the highest paid player at the club. There's going to be that little inclination of Chelsea that if they can get him going more, they'd prefer him to be playing than Nolly, so they get their money's worth, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? There's a little bit of that, I reckon. Yeah, Chelsea have not ruled out buying another winger as well before the transfer deadline. So it's all happening, mate. Even with Palmer being earmarked by Maresca as a more consistently an essential role, it would be easy to get downhearted about all this and give into negative thoughts that Chelsea do not really want or trust you. By the way, I do think it's a good thing that Palmer's being earmarked to be a central player. I do think he wants to drift inside. He's not a chalk on his boots winger, get to the byline and dribble. It's not what Palmer is about. He's about creating, he's about driving and combining, scoring and assisting from more central positions. So I don't think anyone should have an issue about him moving inside. But is Nolly the guy to be the right winger? Madueke seems unfazed about all this when you ask him. He was asked about it, in the following, after the Wrexham 2-2 draw, he was asked about this. He said this: I believe in my ability. We've got a great team of great players, a lot of players who can play in different positions. It's always good to have a team like that. On my part, I try and do my best and see what happens. Competition happens at top clubs all the time. It is what it is. True. To be honest, Nonny's a tricky one because he can behave like an absolute petulant child, which we saw with the penalty situation and a couple of other situations last season. But you stick a microphone in front of him, he's pretty good, actually. He is pretty good. I believe in my ability, he says. We've got a great team full of great players, a lot of players who can play. I've read this already, and now if anyone thinks this is just Madueke trying to put on a brave face in front of the media, they need to think again. The 22-year-old is saying the exact same thing to people closest to him, including the personal football coach, Saul Isaacson-Hurst, as documented by The Athletic last September. The duo have been working together since 2021, doing one-on-one sessions away from Chelsea at various points of the year to improve specific skill sets. And Nonny could be sick, by the way. He was one of those players that I feel like if he does explode and look really good, we're going to look like geniuses. Spending I can't remember, he's 25 million or something, significant investment. But if he becomes a good Premier League player, it looks like a spot of genius. This 20-year-old wasn't doing much at PSV. He looked quite bright in moments, but it wasn't like, it wasn't like Jadon Sancho at Dortmund where everyone has to get him or wants him. So it could prove to be like a stroke of genius from Chelsea. Before reporting to pre-season with Maresca, Madueke spent a week in Marbella with this coach. Inevitably, it was an opportunity to discuss things on his mind as well, and his views on Chelsea's desire for other players were similar to what he said in this interview after Wrexham. So this coach was been speaking to The Athletic that works with Nonny. He says this: "We did talk about that. Initially, he was like, oh, hang on. But he's very grounded. He told me, that's football, it's the level, competition is a good thing, it's the reality of playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world, competition drives you on to be even better." It's good, it's like that sort of Frank Lampard mentality when we signed Ballack. Even I was like, oh wow, that's an impressive and mature way of looking at it. He means it. That's the personality he has. I've said it before, his mentality is second to none. He is so driven. He has so much self-belief. Some players have that, but he's prepared to back it up as well. He talks about being the man. He wants to become the best players. Yeah. I thought Mudryk had this mentality as well when people spoke about how he wants to win the Ballon d'Or. But in terms of self-belief and aura, I do see it more in Nonny Madueke than I see it in Mudryk. He does believe he can be the guy, which you do need. You'll either need to believe you can be the guy like Cristiano Ronaldo style, or you're just a joyful genius like Messi, Hazard. Do you know what I mean? You need one of those things. You need to either be an absolute alien, or you need that just deep burning desire. It's been hard for him in that he proves himself to one manager, and then another one comes in, he has to start again, but he's not fazed by it. Also, as well, once you've proven yourself to the club and to the world, yes, you have to prove yourself to managers, but you don't feel like Cole Palmer's got much to prove to Enzo Maresca as a new manager, do you? Again, if you're that good, you'll play him. Apparently, Nonny's not fazed by it. It was another thing we talked about while out in Marbella. He has the ability, and he feels he has what it takes to be playing. Well, we will see. Like many other acquisitions Chelsea have made over the past 2 years, Madueke was a young player full of potential when he joined from PSV Eindhoven. So he's £27 million after making 12 promising appearances, scoring once in the second half of that campaign. He made another 33 in the last campaign, so this is for Chelsea. A return of 8 goals and 3 assists was pretty good, and he seemed to win over Pochettino by the end of his reign, featuring in the final 13 matches. He did win over Pochettino. That's true. Maresca has a different philosophy to Poch, less chaos. He likes to employ a more possession-based game, but encouragingly for Madueke, the Italian still wants to use wide players. Madueke played the first half of the Wrexham game and he saw lots of the ball. There was a few trademark runs on the byline too. So this is what I'm talking about that Palmer won't do. And if you want that to utilise that kind of style of play, you choose Madueke over Palmer on that right-hand side. He did not have a marauding right-back doubling up behind him because, of course, Reece James or Malo Gusto were inverting into the midfield. Madueke says this: I feel good. New manager, new tactical ideas. It will take a little time to fully get over basically to absorb all that information, but what he's seen is promising. It's a different style of play, but one I feel we're well suited to. You've got to stay high and wide and be patient at times. Well, he's a winger. He can do that. A lot of the time, you might get no touches in the lower areas of the pitch, but it's about staying high and waiting for that killer pass when you can go and do real damage. That's interesting. So not necessarily, so less just up and down, because Pochettino's football was so chaotic. You were just inherently doing a lot of tracking back runs, pressing, counter-pressing, up and down, high-octane stuff. But this is a little bit more like you just wait for it to happen, and you don't have to do as much running, in theory, because you keep the ball. It's about being patient and waiting for that opportunity to do the run and do my stuff. That's the discipline the manager wants, and if the manager wants that, then I'll do it. Simple. Says all the right things, doesn't he? Madueke cannot be accused of resting on his laurels and assuming his role is assured. The coach, again, can vouch for that. He says this: no matter what he does, he always gives 100%. Sometimes I'll have to tell him to have a rest day here, but he's like, no, it's good to see some of his peers and his mates are in clubs partying, but he is just focused. He is a machine. It's good to work with someone like that because he drives you on. Is his coach on the payroll from Madueke? This summer we did a lot of work on his end product, final boards, finishing, but forward passing and crosses on the right side is something he's particularly identified. When you play in that position, you're going to be judged on goals and assists, and the way the coach, Maresca, plays, it's going to suit Noni. Yeah. Is Noni a starter for Chelsea? Is he? Many Chelsea fans were not too impressed by his attempts to take the penalty against Everton. Yeah, that was an embarrassing moment. Him and Nicholas Jackson were fighting. At 22, the key is learning from it before heading to the coach at the Levi Stadium. Madueke seemed to recognise he is maturing more and more off the pitch. He says, I've definitely grown a lot. I'm just trying to take on everything I've learned from last season and the half season before that and trying to improve. He knows with Chelsea's aggressive transfer strategy, it's a must that he does that. Look, man, I like Noni Madueke, apart from his petulant moments on the pitch that we've already referenced. I like him as a player. I feel like I wouldn't hate it if he became the starting right winger for Chelsea and he makes it, and he's young as well, and it'll be exciting if he becomes better and better and better. I know Gareth Southgate's no longer the England manager, and you'd put the farm on the New England manager calling up Cole Palmer. But I wonder how the New England manager would view Cole Palmer. Would he view him as the deputy to Jude Bellingham in the cam role? Or would he try and play him on the right and start Cole Palmer, but then, there's Bukayo Saka? But, I mean, eventually, Noni Madueke might want to get called up for England. He might feel like, well, if Cole Palmer plays as a cam, I could be the backup to Bukayo Saka. Why not? Why not? You play for Chelsea. Dream big, man. Interesting to hear him talk. What do you guys think? Who do you think is going to be the starting right winger for Chelsea? Can Noni do it? How confident are you if he's the starting right winger now? Are you more confident with Noni than you are Sterling or Mudryk? Let me know in the comments. I'll be keen to read your thoughts on this subject. I think it's really interesting. As always, thank you for joining me. I really do appreciate your support. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Keep it locked, because as soon as some news drops, I'll be here to react to it. All right, friends. Hope to see you back soon. Peace.